welcome back to another exciting edition of the Doc and GM show, man. I am GM, man. I had to flow that for you.
You can't do that to me, man.
Yeah, no, I told you, man, today, man, as I was working out, I listened to that one, and I've heard it before, but as I mentioned, I listened to it. So this is the second time that I listened to it. I've heard more of it. No, man, being in Atlanta, man, the last 1, maybe 2 years at this point now, I understand every word of that, man. I'm sure there's places around the country that some of it, the beat is fly.
Right.
Even the lyrics are tight as well. Needless to say, no question about that. But there's some of the things they're talking about. I know what they're talking about. When he's talking about Hamilton Road,
right?
He's talking about the Jump Out Boys.
Right.
No. Well, anyways, yeah. So we did it to ourselves, man. But anyways, man, we got hoop to talk about, man. we just not know this. This is the Doc and GM NBA recap. And, of course, we respect and love our hip-hop music, man. But we're here to talk about the NBA, man.
Yep.
A lot of things happened this week. Not so much the drama that happened last week, as with the KD and all that, but a mini version of it.
Yeah.
Happened in
just flaring.
Yeah. All across the board, all across the room, and that's in the Wizards' country, Washington. That is.
Yeah.
So we'll get into them in the first quarter. And matter of fact, that speaking of the concert, you went to the show. I knew you were going, and so that night I'm watching the NBA as usual, just soaked in, locked in. About 1:00 in the morning. So this had to be Wednesday, right?
Sure.
Okay, yes, sir. And so I'm up vegging out. I don't have to work on Thursday. I'm up vegging out, man, on hoops. And it was 1 in the morning, man. And so, let me look at the standings. And I looked at the West, 6s or 7s, up is down, in is out. I text you right away. I was like, hey, man, take a look at the standings. Everything is ridiculous. So we're definitely going to get into that second quarter. And if you look, the West in the third quarter, I should say, the East, I won't say it's on par because it's definitely not on par. It's not as topsy-turvy as the West is.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into them in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter of our show, we'll get into our signature line of Did You Click It? A couple of stories that you brought, a couple of things that I brought to the table, whether or not we'll decide, we always decide whether or not we're going to click this article, that article, and we'll figure out did you click something. All right, so without further ado, man, the Wizards.
Whoa.
You text me this week, you were like, well, we've been on them for a while.
Yeah.
They've been a grease fire for a while.
Yeah, it's been burning for a minute.
Well, they were close. They had a smidgen. They were close. At Game 7, if they could have just got right by who? Toronto, I think it was. And they couldn't get by Toronto.
Right.
And they've steadily declined. The next year, I think their foe was Boston. And Boston was like, you're not our foe. And they've not been anyone's foe. They've been more folly than anything.
Yeah, they've been kind of silly for a while here.
Okay, so now, would you say, needless to say, they're unhappy in the D.C. area with their basketball team?
Been unhappy.
Okay, all
you
right.
mean are the fans?
Yes, or just fans, the ownership, the players.
And the players obviously are fed
so
up.
all involved. They're not happy with basketball in the D.C. area.
It's nothing to be happy about right now.
So let me ask you that. So here's what I'm getting ready to say, though. We all say and have heard that happiness is based on expectations.
Sure.
Based on that team, are they delusional? Are they expecting too much? Or are they that?
No, they should be a playoff contending team in the Eastern Conference and a formidable team on any given night.
Well, right now they're scraping the bottom. They're definitely not that. But they're not crazy far from being a playoff team. So formidable is what should make formidable?
On any given night, they should be.
Formidable.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
Yeah.
With what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying formidable. Because, I like John Wall. Quick, fast, he can shoot now. Definitely shoots better than he used to.
Good defender.
Yeah, sure, good defender.
Both plays both sides of the ball well.
But Bradley Beal, same way. Great shooter.
Mm-hmm.
used to be hurt often, right?
He's been banged up
Little
here
Nicky,
and there.
Nicky here, Nicky there. Not seasoned in.
John Wall too.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, those guys, as I was telling you pre-show, they're not Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum, but in John Wall's head, what was his quote a couple years ago as their echelon, their pecking order in the NBA?
I think he believed for a second there, stated that he thought they were the best backcourt, or at least among the best backcourts in the league.
Now, I'm going to ask you, can you name more than one backcourt that would be better than
In Washington?
Yes.
I can get probably a couple real quick.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't. They're
But that's changed. I mean, they've digressed.
Should they currently be 7-12? No, but there are a lot of teams that have not. But that's a function of, to me, blame starts at the top, because we said they digress. Because if you don't get better,
Regress.
right? If you don't get better, you get worse. And what happened, if I'm not mistaken, one of those years that they were close, they put a lot of eggs. Well, first things first, they paid Otto Porter a lot of money.
That's
again,
the beginning of where they went wrong.
That's part of where they went wrong.
Yeah.
Now,
I won't say the beginning. They made a lot of moves
under Ernie Grunfeld. They have made a lot of moves that definitely have not panned out. And so now, with that said, bringing Dwight in. I mean, I'm not saying that's bad, but where's it going to get you? And so, to me, it starts at the top with Ernie.
But that's why I say they tied their own hands with that Otto Porter thing.
That, and I know what I was getting ready to say was that the year I think they went 7 games to, was it Toronto that they lost 7 games to Toronto?
I think so.
Where John Wall in Game 6, he stood on top of the thing, and people call him king of Game 6, but they lost Game 7 of that particular year. And then, but that particular offseason, there's always that big free agent who's the big fish, who's the big kahuna that people are trying to rope.
Mm-hmm.
And coupled with them signing Otto Porter to a ridiculous contract, they were trying to get a big fish and didn't get that big fish. I think it was LeBron at the time, maybe. They were excuse me, it was KD. That's right. It was when KD was on his when he chose Golden State.
Right.
It was that summer. And they thought he might come back to where he grew up.
Right.
And they didn't. And since then, who've they added?
Nobody really.
That's what I mean, other than Dwight. So they're gonna regress.
They paid John Wall a lot of money too.
Again, you got to pay someone.
Yeah. Because
if you're not paying John Wall, you're gonna pay someone else. So but as I mentioned, to me, the blame should, well, not so much blame, just why are we in this mess? The guys at the top put this mess together.
Well, how do they get out of it at this point? How do they fix this?
Well, to me,
it's not.
I have no personal beef against Ernie Grunfeld, and as I mentioned, I met one of his good friends, Bernard King, and I consider him, someone that I know, and so I don't have a beef against Ernie Grunfeld. But again, if Ernie's got to go.
Wow, like right now during the season.
When are you trying to change this? I mean, we're only a quarter of the way in. Like when the Sixers got a new blood with Elton Brand, I mean he made it.
Yeah, but he had a whole off season of work and a whole number of factors.
But I'm not saying a big deal was made in from them other than the Jimmy Butler thing, but that didn't come during working in the off season. That came within a few week period when Jimmy said, "No, I'm out of here."
I got you on that part. What I'm saying.
So get someone that can make a deal like that happen. Because when we talked about on this podcast a couple of weeks ago where he could go, I think I named 2 places. Either Minnesota, because you got to get value.
Who could go?
I'm sorry.
Where who could go?
Jimmy, and it was Minnesota or Bradley Beal. Get someone that can make that happen.
Easier said than done sometimes, and maybe Ernie can.
He hasn't.
Well,
He's been there a while.
and that's
Because
that's
if
what
I'm not
saying.
mistaken,
Now it's time, right? Because somebody's got to go.
that's what I
They're
said. You
disgruntled.
said, well, yeah. So yeah. Now if you're trying to change things
If
now,
you're not thinking player personnel, you keep the players together.
well, hold tight. You know, again, we start from the top, and then this new guy says, "Hold up, this ain't working," and that's or could matter of fact, I don't want to be sexist. It could be a female. This new person comes in and says, "This is not working,"
Mm-hmm.
and then he or she decides who player personnel. That's what the GM is supposed to do. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't Gilbert Arenas and all those guys are under Ernie's watch?
Possibly.
Ernie's been there a long time. Again, I got nothing against Ernie. Probably soft in the earth guy. I saw his 30 for 30. Yeah, big man. Yeah, but you're not doing a good job, or it's not panning out.
Mm.
Sure, I mean I'm sure that's a winning organization. It's been a winning organization.
I'm just saying, I don't see them letting him go during the season like that. It could happen.
They may not. But I mean, you
'Cause that's going to create more dysfunctional than keeping him there for the remainder of the season and then getting somebody new.
so what? Get
off-season.
rid more. Okay, the owner. I mean, not the owner. The GM or the coach. Which one would cause more dysfunction? The coach. Now the coach, the GM is probably going to get a new coach. But no, that's not. Well, 7 and 8. Maybe they just
A lot of moving parts. So I don't know.
So
I was thinking more along the lines of player personnel anyway.
That's good. Okay, and who?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's tradable? I mean,
Oh, Bradley Bills. I'm sure it's tradable. He's not happy, and I'm sure people would listen.
I heard a suggestion that maybe the Lakers trade some of their young talent to get a Bradley Beal out in LA to play with LeBron.
Sure, he loved that. Yeah, he loved that. And again, a good crafty GM, and we'll see. Is Magic technically the GM? No. Pelinka
Yeah.
is the GM.
Yeah.
Right. Magic he's been in there for eye candy. But no, so that's what I don't know. They got it's a grease fire. It's hard to put them out. How do you put out a grease fire? Matter of fact, sand, salt. I don't know. Definitely can't put water on it.
Wow.
No, I mean, because again, you got guys hollering at the players. You have players hollering at the GM. You have players hollering at the coach. You have players being fined. They're subpar, 7 and 12. Yeah, moving one player. Yeah, because again, moving Bradley Beal, who you gonna those young players back from the Lakers?
I mean,
That's not going to make them better.
Getting
Young players from the Lakers. is not
no,
gonna make them
let me
better.
finish. Getting disgruntled people out of your locker room
You gotta get
will
12.
make you better.
You got to get 12 of them. No one's happy but Otto Porter and Kelly Oubre.
I mean,
Only one is happy. And as been reported, initially we've heard that they were mad at each other. And we're going into this 13 minutes here, so we're going over the quarter. But it's all right. But it's been reported that they've been mad at each other, which most people buy. But now is known that the players are disgruntled at the owner. I'm not the owner, the GM and the coach.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But anyways,
Burn it all the way down.
yeah. And like I said, it starts from the top. Owner's not going to get rid of himself. Ernie's not. Yeah, Ernie's going to go, and then I don't know. They may ride the season out, try to turn it around because it's early enough to turn it around. And if they don't turn it around, maybe they fish for one of those big Duke kids that everyone says is so hot. But so we'll see. But anyways, they Wizards, they're not where they want to be, but there's some time for them, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. All right, that's what's up, man.